you know, these people have, they are sick. It's clear. You have two types of radioactive contamination. You have a day after day contamination through not the waste which is stored, the waste which is in the ocean or North Sea from the reprocessing plant, or the waste, even if the level is very low, from the nuclear plants. We have sort of permanent low level radioactivity which increases. The second is the waste itself, which is radioactive and which is stored, but stored in bad or good conditions and for the long term. So you have a risk, partly now, for example, in the uranium mines in Niger or Kazakhstan or in France in the past. We have 250 mines of uranium in France, which are now stopped, but you have some radioactivity, a sort of pollution, radioactive pollution. You have the waste for the long term, centuries, millennia, etc. And you have the accident in Fukushima. In this case, you have a lot of radioactive products which are in the atmosphere or in the soil, and you have direct effect. If you have radioactive material, you have rays which can be bad for the health. And the worst is what we call contamination, that in the soil or in the plants, you have radioactivity for long periods because the radioactivity is decreasing, but for cesium, for example, is half of the quantity is decreasing after 90 years or 100 years. And so the soil is contaminated, the plants are contaminated, and the people, you still have people living in the region where this happens, Chernobyl, for example, and they eat radioactive material. Low levels. And the accumulation means that you can have disease or cancer from some of the radioactive material. You can have heart problems for the children from living in this region or born with people who have been contaminated. And we know that in Chernobyl, you have a third generation of children which have diseases which are linked to the radioactivity through very complicated mechanisms, but it's real. I was a few days ago at a conference by Professor Bernard coming from Ukraine, who was in jail first because he said that it was very dangerous for the people to live in this region, and now is out of jail and is working on the disease of the young children after 3 generations, and it's terrible.